Do you know why DC characters like Superman, Batman, or Marvel characters like Captain America or Iron Man are very popular amongst boys growing up? What is it that these characters have or represent that makes them loved and revered by the male gender? For some, they are idols, for some shadow mentors, and others just reserve it. Want me to prove it? Then make sure to watch this video until the very end. Here's why men are broken. Welcome to Men Conversations. If boys do not learn, men will never know. Imagine you're young Bruce Wayne, son of a billionaire, Thomas Wayne, who finds himself an orphan. His parents are killed at gunpoint by stage killing, which of course is political, but that's not our area of interest today. All of a sudden, he is all alone, but somehow he grows into a man and fights crime in his own hometown. One of the reasons he does this is because he's inspired by the death of his parents to fight crime. The other one is that he wants to honor his father and finish what he had started. His father was a philanthropist and helped out a lot in Gotham. Bruce felt in a way he could connect with his dad by being a vigilante and fighting crime. A little bit different from what his dad used to do, but hey, who can blame the guy? It still work, right? Let's look at another scenario. Your young Kal-El, shipped all the way from your planet to Earth, millions and millions of miles away. Where you're from is gone. Boom, in ashes. You are the last of your kind. You're the last survivors of your kind. Do you know how difficult it is to comprehend that psychologically? Very, very difficult. Hey, by the way, if you like this content so far, do hit on the like button as it will help to push this content to other people. Cheers. Now, Superman, Kal-El, is raised by a couple who are not his parents, but that's okay. And he begins to notice he has some supernatural abilities. Through and through, he masters his fast speed, flying abilities, super strength, and healing properties, etc. From these two stories, do you see any commonality? Okay, so both Superman and Batman are broken completely from a very young age. Like many of us gents out here. I'm probably one of them. So, which moves me to my next segment. What is brokenness? Brokenness is a state of emotional pain that stops someone from living a normal life or a healthy life. Some of us are able differently, born from a poor background. Others have diseases like HIV, cancer, and other health deficiencies. But there's an aspect of brokenness that I want us to narrow down on. State of being in a strong emotional pain. All of these things that I've mentioned above, believe it or not, do not have the capacity to really hinder someone from moving on in life. Sometimes you have that one dream that you want to achieve, right? But because you're broken, but because of the brokenness you have, you almost will never do it. Stick around and I'll give you a tip or two on how you can turn that around. So, what happens when men are broken? Hard times create strong men. Strong men create good times create weak men, and weak men create hard times. A quote from a post-apocalyptic novel by G. Michael Hope. I'm sure we've all come across that quote, and I want us to focus on good times creates weak men, and weak men create hard times. I'll start with weak men create hard times. Now, broken men create hard times because they are weak. Before you bash me on this one, listen in on how. When you're going through that broken state, you're emotionally in pain and you turn off everything else. Take this for instance. You have a dream of creating flying cars, but when you look at your background, your surrounding, your immediate environment, it does not look favorable for you to bring those dreams to fruition. So you have pity on yourself and you tend to stagnate and not flow. Then comes a day where we no longer have to make tires with rubbers from trees because of some environmental factors or global warming, something like that. You just have a dream to make flying cars. Now it will take us longer to get there because you sulked and had pity on yourself. You end up creating hard times because of your brokenness and weakness. I hope you get that. If you look around the world, places where crime thrives, corruption, and all manner of vices are as a result of weak men. If we don't have the police officers who follow the law and respond to the situations because of how they are feeling and decide to shoot at the suspect or criminal, it ends up worsening the situation, creating upheavals amongst people. What is the general outlook of broken men? Broken men seek for instant gratification, whereas real men or men who look past their brokenness delay instant gratification. What is instant gratification? Instant gratification is the irresistible urge to indulge in short-term pleasures at the expense of long-term goals and well-being. Constantly giving in can cause you from achieving your dreams. The modern world sells cheap dopamine, which becomes increasingly hard to evade. They do that very easily. There's always an opportunity to satisfy our immediate desires. You being the only one responsible for you, therefore it is key to train yourself to overcome instant gratification and not miss out on your long-term dream and goals. From our previous two stories, what will stop Bruce Wayne from planning, tracking, and killing those who robbed him of his parents? Nothing. After all, his superpowers as well. He could have gotten it done in days. But he refrained. He did not act on instant gratification. He was 10, old enough in case you wanted to say he was young. But do you know what would have happened if he did? So many factors. 1, probably he wouldn't have learned Mandarin as he went for training. 2, he would not have been Batman. 3, crime would still be at large and crime lords ever evading justice. Which brings me to my next point. Sometimes brokenness can lead to greatness. Just because you are at disadvantage doesn't mean you can't make it out to your paradise. This brokenness are a way and reason for us to become successful. Superman would similarly have decided to blow up Earth as well, as he had every reason to. He was not from here. I mean, why would he not think of doing that? Number 2, his own place blew up, so why not blow Earth? He had no personal connections. Well, aside from Martha and his earthly dad, whose name I seem to have forgotten. He could have easily set out and gone to find out what happened, seek retribution. He didn't, which brings us to another point in focus. Sometimes the past should remain in the past. Do not disturb the past until it comes for you. He would also have had to leave Earth vulnerable because he became the protector of Earth, obviously. He was meant to protect the Earth, its defenders. Can you imagine if he sought instant gratification, what would have happened? Both of these characters chose to wait and empower themselves on a journey of discovery. If you want to know more about instant gratification and how you can overcome it, check out a YouTube channel called ALX.com. They have done an in-depth, solid job about the matter. Moving on swiftly. Probably you're looking at yourself and wondering, how can I use my situation to my advantage? There's a book called Unfair Disadvantages. The author teaches you how to become a successful person, and guess what? You don't need 100 hours a week or 10,000 hours. A hack, right? Well, get reading then. What should men do to avoid brokenness? 1, ensures there are no criminals who use the law to their advantage by steering clear of their crimes. And the other, who uses his supernatural abilities to fight supervillains and protect people who have no powers. Pretty noble, right? So how did they master this? Attention. This is one of those reasons why we look up to these characters. So tuck your ears in real close. Remember when I mentioned that these characters went on a journey? Yes, they lacked skills, experience, training, and mastery. Superman, after knowing he had supernatural abilities that were great phenomena, he accepted them, embraced them, learned to use them, and he only became experienced when a new enemy would come and he would overcome the challenge and grew stronger. In turn, the Earth became stronger. People loved him more, but it never changed the fact that others forever remained cautious of him, saying he was dangerous, but it doesn't change the fact that others were cautious of him, saying he was dangerous. I'll get to that in a moment. Now, if you are like Superman in the midst of your brokenness, as you start to work on yourself, you will get challenges and hurdles. Do not give up. It's only when you overcome these challenges that your power grows. You gain more respect, more authority, and you mark your earth. Therefore, enemies fear you before they even strike because you've built a relentless reputation. Brace yourself because the challenges do come and they will come. They have to because you need them. Do not pity yourself and run. Batman, Bruce Wayne, went for training. He was trained on various martial arts, jiu-jitsu, one of them, if I'm not wrong, by the leader of those assassins, and then came home ready to face the challenges. Obviously, these challenges were not different. They came on him hard, but he had experience. So if you're Batman and you have an idea of how the enemy attacks, how they think, and what they are like, advantage, right? This is how you build up on your weakness as a man. You outgrow it. Do not cave in. Never cave in. Now, for the final piece of the puzzle, Batman had a symbol of a bat. He used this to put fear into his enemies. In real sense, did you know he actually feared bats? But he turned that around and used his fear to inflict fear upon the criminals. Your greatest fear of not starting something would actually be your most powerful tool. You're scared of starting a YouTube channel or a podcast, but it may be the very reason you succeed in life. What makes Batman very successful is that he uses darkness to blend in and bats, which people are scared of and fear, to come out victorious over his enemies. So, what do you fear the most? How many people do you know that fear bats? How many people fear darkness? Well, the answer is relatively a good amount of people. Moving on. Superman's suit has an S. It's a symbol of the house of El, his family. It's a symbol of hope. It means that he will always be there to help people when they need him the most, no matter what. The hope is not there for Superman, but it is there for people to resonate with him, to draw belief, to never die of hope. You also have something that you can reach out to people and give them hope. Use it. Perhaps you're caring, loving, tolerant, or perhaps you're kind and generous. Whatever virtue you have, people around you need it. People need to know there's always light behind the tunnel. A broken man lacks that. A broken man cannot inspire or change hope. He cannot be that spark. There's always someone who's short of hope. Be that hope for them. Obviously, you can't give hope to everyone, but you can give enough people who can reflect it on enough other people, and that will be enough. In conclusion, broken men are not dangerous men. Dangerous men are powerful men. Let me repeat that. Broken men are not dangerous men. Dangerous men are powerful, authoritative, responsible, and accountable men. Jordan Peterson says that you need to be a dangerous man because the world is ruthless and it will do all manner of things to you. You need to be ready, you need to be equipped, you need to fight, but that does not mean you hurt others, but you're simply watching out for your interest. Andrew Tate also reads from the same script that you need to be dangerous and it helps you to be competitive. Why do you think social classes such as the 1%, the 2%, and the 3% exists? It's a competition between broken men and real men. I'll soon do a video on dangerous men, and oh boy, I wouldn't want you to miss out on that. That's why I'd really appreciate if you click on the subscribe button and let's get conversating. I'll be uploading more contents of this nature and I do not want you to miss out. See you in the next part. This has been Men Conversations. Oh, and in case you're wondering, I managed to prove it. I hope